This segment of the news is brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.
Welcome back. The Caribbean viewed as a new possible destination for Japanese visitors. Tourism Director General Joy Jiberlu recently found out how much so while attending Japan's Tourism Expo in Tokyo, the world's largest tourism trade fair. As chair of the Caribbean Tourism Organization, the Director General made a presentation to 16 Japanese travel agents, airlines, and media tour operators on the benefits of vacationing in the Caribbean.
It was interesting to note, everybody we met in Japan, they knew about the Caribbean. It was a place that they all aspire to visit. They all see it as a place of beauty, but they had no intimate knowledge. The fact that the Bahamas is an archipelago with 700 islands absolutely blew them away. To say that they could differentiate between the Bahamas and Jamaica and Antigua, it was no. But what was important and what they taught us was that there are 20 million Japanese who travel every year. 1 in 4 Japanese travel. They go for a minimum of 7 nights. They spend a lot of money and they're looking for new places to go.
Of course, Japan is hoping the Caribbean in turn sends visitors its way. However, that calls for educating the Japanese about how easy it is to get here.
They're already coming in droves to the United States of America. They're already coming to Florida. They had no idea of the proximity from Florida to, I'm going to speak specifically about the Bahamas. So for me, our gratitude to the Japanese government that they thought about this initiative, that they made it possible. They did include CARICOM. It was a great experience, and I can't say enough about the opportunities that it presents for us and opportunities that we were not necessarily thinking of in the short term.
In 2017, the Caribbean saw 40,000 visitors from Japan, while the majority headed to Cuba and the Dominican Republic. Of that total, the Bahamas locked in 1,400 visitors.
Because what that number speaks to is the possibilities that people are finding themselves here on their own. And could you imagine if we go in there and do a campaign that we can grow that number? I also need to point out that that 40,000 has dropped. In 2016, it was 46,000. So with the hurricanes of last year, the numbers dropped. And again, it was really advantageous for us to be there and talk to the fact that the Caribbean and the Bahamas indeed are open for business.
Meantime, Japan is said to be the world's fastest growing travel destination with its ancient temples, neon skyscrapers, snow-capped mountains, and sandy beaches. The Nassau Airport Authority gifted on its 10th anniversary. NAD's Partners Advantage Airport Group handed over a commemorative piece of artwork marking 10 years of airport operations excellence. The way, as the piece is called, is a whimsical and colorful aluminum sculpture depicting underwater life. It features more than 30 unique species of reef fish found in local waters. Behind the masterpiece is Bahamian artist Dee Dee Brown.
The theme for all the works of art in the airport is a sense of place. As it pertains to the Bahamas, for me this resonates as light and color. It means energy and movement. It means finding inspiration in the natural beauty that surrounds us. The Bahamas is a place of unrivaled vibrance and beauty, even more so beneath its majestic blue seas. The waters surrounding the islands are home to some of the richest and most diversified marine life in the world. There are some 900 square miles of coral reef, including the 3rd largest barrier reef in the world. Bright and dazzling colors, combined with the intricate and playful patterns and myriad species of living in our seas, and are an inspiration for this work.
President and CEO of Vantage Airport Group, George Casey, made this appeal to all art students at the presentation.
So we like having young people that are interested in things like art, but we run a wonderful business, and it's led by people like Bernice and her team. And so as you go through the airport today, think of yourself in the future as potentially being a part of a great organization like that. So thank you for coming, and I just want to applaud your interest.
The artwork sits in the International Arrivals Terminal and will be seen by more than 3.3 million passengers moving the airport annually. Ms. Brown's art is also displayed in the Domestic Departures Lounge. Taking flight is a sculpture featuring a flock of 84 life-size pink flamingos. Made provision to preserve your vision, the theme of this year's Blindness Awareness Campaign, the 10th stage by the Bahamas Alliance for the Blind and Visually Impaired, or BABV. BABV President Desmond Brown this morning stressed the importance of blindness awareness and prevention in society.
To promote the use of some adaptive technologies that can facilitate the integration of the blind and visually impaired in society. To promote the need to greater access to print material and web content to blind and visually impaired persons. To encourage service providers to make their services much more accessible to blind and visually impaired persons.
Statistics from the World Health Organization show that over 80% of all visual impairments could have been prevented or cured. This is exactly why Mr. Brown says BABV is calling on all Bahamians to do everything in their power to protect their eyesight and the sight of their loved ones.
We all must take the necessary steps to prevent avoidable blindness. While we continue to work to prevent blindness and to preserve vision, we further call upon the government, private sector, service providers, and the general public to remove all stereotypical beliefs and practices that create barriers that stand in the way of blind and visually impaired individuals taking their rightful place in society.
BABV's month of activities kicks off this Sunday, September 30th, with a church service at United Faith Ministries International. It ends with a luncheon and award ceremony on Sunday, October 28th. Our final story is up next.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.